What's up, you guys? It is the girl, the lab girl, and I am here with episode 2 of the Lab Girl Circle. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate you guys. Happy Saturday. Thank you so much for taking your time to join me and my special guest today. We're definitely dropping some gems, and I'm super excited to get to know her. And I know you guys will walk away with a lot of tools for your toolbox. So, the first thing is, I want to just say, introduction wise, that I am the lab girl. If you guys are new to my channel, thank you so much for joining me, for following me, for subscribing to the channel, for joining the gang. I really appreciate that. I wanted to definitely start off by saying that I create the Lab Girl Circle so you can be heard. What was your experience like studying? What were your obstacles that you faced or currently facing as a histotech? How was your experience in histology school, and how did you hear about histology? We never know what we can learn from each other. So if you want to be on my show, all you have to do is just email me at the labgirlcircle@gmail.com and let me know if you would like to be a part of this wonderful, wonderful journey. All right. So before we get into the show, I just want to say um, I'm super excited. I'm always excited because this is something that I created for for you guys, and I'm super happy to have you guys want to be a part of something so great. So I'm going to bring on my guest. She is a licensed histotech, and her name is Samara, and she's from New York, and we are going to be speaking with her. And you guys, if you got any questions, whether it's about jobs, working in New York, or about her journey as a histotech, that is why we're here. So make sure you put your comment in the comment section, and we will definitely get to your comments at the end of the show. And if you actually are watching after the show and you are on the replay game, just make sure that you let me know, and I can always reach out to Samara and let her know that you had a question for her in regards to the stream. So let's go ahead and bring her in, and let's go ahead and get started. One moment.
Hello, Histo family.
Hi, Samara. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing, Shan?
I'm good. Thank you so much for joining the Lab Girl Circle. Welcome to the Lab Girl Circle. You guys say hi to our guests. If you got any questions, again, feel free to drop it down in the comment section down below, and we can read those questions or comments at the end of the show. And Samara, welcome to the channel. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much, Shan, for having me.
You're
I
welcome.
hail from the great city of New York, and I am here to share some exciting news about changes regarding that coveted New York State license.
Well, you know what? I am super excited to hear what you guys say about New York, because I have a lot of people who watch me, and they're always asking about the state licenses, which is New York,
Mhm.
Florida, and Nevada. But New York be like the top, and Florida be like the top. So I'm super excited that you reached out to me, and welcome you guys to the gang. Welcome you guys. Thank you so much for joining, and we can go ahead and get started. Okay, so Samara, let's first start out. How did you hear about the Lab Girl Circle?
Okay, so I heard about the Lab Girl Circle last year, back in 2023, when I was studying for my HT exam.
Okay.
So this was like a tutorial for me. It helped me out a lot, and I kept in contact after I failed that first exam
Hmm.
to take the second exam. And yes, yes.
Okay. So you stumbled across my page, probably like anyone else, and we're going to get into your studying and you failing the first time, which I failed the first time as well. You probably heard me talk about that a million times. So that's why it's really good for this channel, because we get to see people who doesn't always make it, or don't always pass the first time. So it's definitely a good testimony. So I'm glad that you was able to stumble across my page, and any of my, test taking tips, or just not even the tips, but maybe just the motivation. Did they help you in somewhat in your journey?
Oh yes, absolutely, it did, because when I took it the first time and I failed, and I went back to your videos,
Mm-hmm.
it showed that, okay, I'm not the only one. I got this another time. But
Yeah.
like you, I remember you saying on your videos, my life depended on it. My life
Right.
depended on it at the time too. So
Right.
I'm like, I have to. So I was just in there. And you not only helped me out with taking the exam, but you helped me out with taking the job as well. And I
Oh,
again,
cool.
I'll take this time to give you your flowers
Oh,
because
thanks.
of you, when I was studying for the HT, I learned about travel histotext, and I was like, "What? They have that in my field? You
Right.
mean I could do that?"
I
And
can do it. Right.
yeah, so I was like, "Oh my gosh, wow!" So I just want to thank you, and because of that, I will be starting my first travel job at the beginning of September.
Yay! Congrats.
Yes.
Congratulations. Oh, I'm super
Thank
excited
you.
for you. Super excited. Well,
Thank you.
you know what? These are the stories that I like to hear. So I really like congratulations. Like that was very heartfelt. So thank you so much for giving me my flowers and congratulations, and everyone saying congratulations in the comments as well.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you, Histo family. I appreciate it. Yes.
All right, so we'll definitely have to have you back so we can,
Oh, yeah.
talk to you about your very first experience as a travel histotech. So I'm super excited for you, and we'll definitely have you back to talk about that.
I would love that.
Cool. All right, so let's talk about histology. How did you get into histology? Well, like, did you hear about histology? Did you stumble across histology, or did you know someone who was a histotech?
Okay, so the way I stumbled across histology was when I went to the University of Maryland Eastern Shore and obtained my bachelor's in environmental science with a concentration in marine biology.
Mm-hmm.
My advisor was opening up a lab. Little did I know that it was a histology lab. Now, I had never heard of the word, I had never seen anyone do it, I didn't know anything about it, but he fully immersed his mentors in that histology process.
Mm-hmm.
And one day he just pulled us all to the side and he said, apart from you all getting your degree, you now have a set of skills that you can go to any pathology facility in the world and work on and get paid good for it. So
Cool.
that's what led me to New York City.
All right. Okay, so you're not originally from New York. That was just that's what led you. Okay.
Yep,
All right.
yes.
So working, and this is a personal question from me. So
Okay.
working in New York, like one of the largest, states, how was it navigating, as far as being a histotech in a New York lab? Like how is it? Are you in a big lab or smaller lab, or did you start small? And then you went to like, or did you work somewhere huge like NYU, or how did you navigate what made you say, okay, this is the right job for me, right out of school?
Okay, so I'll have to put in like some background story to Shan, if it's
Okay.
okay.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
fine.
So when I moved to New York, I had a big head. I said, okay, I have this degree, I have these skills in my head. I'm saying, New York, here I come, hire
Right.
me. Let
No.
me tell y'all something. That was nothing short of a car crash, okay? For the sole purpose, Histo family, for the sole
Hmm.
purpose of I didn't have my New York state license.
Oh,
Yeah, and
okay.
no job would even let me sit for an interview unless
Wow.
I had that license. They were very strict about that. I
Hmm.
moved to the city in 2012,
Hmm.
and they passed that bill for histology professionals to have the New York state license in
Okay.
2006, but they didn't enforce it until 2011. So
Okay.
what happened, and what I heard from a lot of histology professionals in New York, was that you could be grandfathered in prior to
Hmm.
2011, but when 2011 came, that's when they really put the hammer down, and you had to have that New York state license.
Okay.
So it was tough for me when I first came. I didn't have no job. I
Wow. So you had moved there without the job. You're
right.
thinking you're thinking, see, my process is to get the job first and then move, but you moved there
Of me.
first. You did it backwards. See, that's
I
a
did.
you did it backwards. Okay, so you was like, I got this. I'm gonna get a job. So you moved there first. Found out
Mhm.
you couldn't get a job because you didn't have a license. So what was next?
Okay, so what was next was I finally did get a job in a histology lab,
Okay.
and that one I that led to me being there for 12 years. That lab
Okay.
just shut down.
Did you take okay, so at this point, and I'm just rewind, at this
Uh-huh.
point, you was ASCP certified.
No, I was not. I
You
was
was
not.
not because okay, because your grandfather then.
No, I wasn't even grandfathered in. I had nothing.
You had nothing. Okay, so you
Yeah.
oh, so you basically got a job without being certified. So okay, I won't interrupt anymore. Okay, go ahead.
It's okay. It's okay. It's all
Okay.
right. Okay, so when I guess after a month of moving to the city, I got a
Mhm.
job in a histology lab.
Mhm.
However, I want to tell you, histo family who are looking to work in New York City,
Mhm.
that you do not need a New York State license or a national certification to work
Oh,
in a histology lab if you're dealing with animal tissue.
okay.
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 Yeah. So that should be easy for people looking to start somewhere.
Okay. Like
Yeah,
to get their foot in the door
right.
until they're able to get certified.
Exactly.
Oh, okay. So are there a lot of jobs like, where you can work with animal tissue?
I only know of two, and
Okay.
I wanted to let the family know that those are HistoWiz.
Oh, let
That's
me
one
I'm gonna
company.
put this in the comments for them.
Okay.
Okay, so it's Histo Wiz, WIZ.
Yes, WIZ.
Okay.
And the other company is Antech, Antech.
So these are the two companies that, they can possibly apply to until they're actually licensed.
Yes, you can. Yes.
Okay.
And
Okay.
they don't require any certifications or anything.
Oh,
And,
cool.
and also, Histo family, New Jersey is right across the river from us. So if you want to, get your foot wet, you can go to New Jersey and work there and have them sign off on some forms that I'm going to tell you guys about
Okay.
so that you can obtain your New York State license.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you're dropping gems already. So because I was just thinking like Florida, okay, for instance, like I come from Florida, which, you automatically are HTL. And whenever you take your ASCP, you actually get the state license. You actually have to. I didn't know. We didn't know as far as New York if you had to sit for an additional testing for the state license for New York. So that's I guess that's what we'll get into later. But as far as your license, as for like for Nevada, I just filled out a form and then like I got my state license.
Okay.
So for New York. Okay, so now we got these two companies, HistoWiz and Antech. If you are looking to work in New York, you don't have your license yet, you
Absolutely.
guys can, see about working there. And can that count towards like, just say if you're in school, can that possibly count towards clinicals as well? Are you aware of that?
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
okay,
It would
all right.
definitely count towards clinicals.
Okay,
Yes.
so now you're in this big city and you're looking for a job. You're there for 12 years now. Are you licensed during this whole 12 years?
No, I am not.
Oh
No, I am not. Okay.
Okay.
That's why I remember when we were emailing back and forth, I'm like,
Uh-huh.
my way is a little less conventional. So,
I love this
yeah,
though. But you know what? And this is what I love because it just goes to show like everyone's path will be different. And
yes,
the more people I talk to is it's like it's an inspiration because it goes to show that not just one person just went to school, got a job in a histology lab, and then boom, they're set up. Sometimes you have to, go through peaks and valleys to be able to just be where you're at today. So I definitely, understand the journey. So I'm all here for it. So this is great. You did say it was not conventional. So, this is awesome. Okay, so 12 years you worked there, not licensed. So how did you feel stuck? And I'm going all off course. I'm so sorry, but
it's okay.
did you feel stuck in a way, like maybe like okay, I've been working here for 12 years. This is really all I know. how can I grow and advance, or maybe go to a different lab? Were you ever thinking that way?
Oh my gosh, that's a great question. Yes, I did feel very stuck. I felt
Okay.
so stuck. And to give you some backstory, when I first moved to New York City,
Mm-hmm.
and they told me, okay, you need the license to work in the histology lab. I
Mm.
went and I applied for it because I have a strong science background,
Okay.
but the state rejected me to even sit for the exam. So
Wow.
that was a big discouragement. They said, oh, you have to go back and take this course, that course, and the next. And I said,
Wow.
the hell, I won't. I'm done with school. Like, I'm just done. Like, come
I'm
on.
done. I've been doing this
Yeah.
for 12 years. Like, does that mean
Exactly.
anything? Yeah.
Yes. And so that was very discouraging. So when New York State Education Department wrote that letter back to me saying, we can't let you sit the exam, you
Mm-hmm.
need to go back to school, I kind of gave up. I really did. I
Mm.
gave up. And so it wasn't until last year in 2023
Mm-hmm.
that I guess you can call it the Holy Spirit tapped on my shoulder and said,
Okay. Okay, Holy Spirit. Come on, Holy
boy, I tell you, that came through.
Spirit.
It came through. It
I
really
don't know.
did, Shan.
We have to go into
It
church now. Okay, Holy Spirit. Okay, the Holy Spirit said,
came through.
tap, tap.
Yes, it really did. It said, tap, tap,
Mm-hmm.
you go and apply for the HT exam. And I
Okay.
said, how could I was rejected
I
by the
got denied. I know. I know.
yeah. And if the state rejected me, what would the national certification say to me? But
Right.
I did it anyway. I took the exam, I failed,
Okay.
and I can tell you that that was the best thing that happened to me.
I bet you're okay. So you're now okay, so wait a minute. So you're at this point you're asking the state of New York to approve something, but you're not even ASCP certified yet.
Oh no. Yes.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. Mhm.
So did they not just say, hey, you need to be ASCP certified first before we give you your state license? That wasn't the reason why?
Well, that's another good reason why I came here, Shan, and Histo
Okay.
family. I want to let you know in New York State,
Mm-hmm.
prior to 2022, when they enacted Chapter 446, but I'll get into
Okay.
446 later.
Okay.
In New York State, prior to 2022, even if you had your HT or
Mm-hmm.
your HTL,
Mm-hmm.
New York State was not letting you work in their histo lab without the New York State license.
Oh,
Even if you had a strong science background,
yeah.
New York State was just gatekeeping the hell out of letting people sit for the exam or just give them the New York State histology license. So
Oh,
that was the problem.
okay.
So fast forward to
Mm-hmm.
2022 when they enacted Chapter 446.
Mm-hmm.
In a nutshell, it stated if you have your HT or your HTL, you can automatically get the New York State license now. You don't
Oh,
have to sit for the exam anymore. As long as you have that, the
okay.
New York State license is automatically yours.
I think that's how it should be. Honestly,
Yeah.
that's how Florida is. Like, it doesn't matter. Like I said, once you are ASCP certified, then you
Mhm.
automatically get that state license. You have to, of course, like apply for it and do your CUs and everything, but like it automatically comes with it. So now it's easier
Right.
for you to now obtain a license as a so make sure to make sure I have this clear.
Yes.
If I want to come to New York and get a job, I just need to fill out a state license for New York, and then
Correct.
that'll be it.
Yes, you fill out your state license and you pay the fee because you know those people, they're not looking at your license unless you pay that
You
fee.
gotta pay the fee,
So
child. I
yeah.
know. Okay.
So you go, you just fill out the application, you pay the fee, and that license is yours in 3 to 4 weeks.
Okay. So how did your life change between the time now that you wasn't, licensed, and then now that you are licensed? Like, how did that change your life as far as your career? Like, did you feel more confident in applying for other jobs, or did you leave your job, or did you figure out, okay, what's my next move now that I'm licensed? Did things change with your pay? like how did that affect you as far as like, your career? Like what was the positives that happened by you getting licensed in New York compared to what, because you was really doing all the work and not licensed. So now that you are like, or now, or whenever you became licensed, how did that improve or impact your career, do you think, or did everything stay the same?
Okay, so I'm gonna give you a backstory to this one as well.
Okay.
Okay, so when I took the HT exam
Mm-hmm.
for the second time and I got it,
Okay.
that's when I found out that, and that was this year. This is when
Okay.
I found out that New York State had opened it up for people who have an HT to
Mm-hmm.
automatically get the license. So I ran to the state education board, fill out my application, paid my fee, got my license.
Okay.
And so as soon as I got that, the job that I worked at for 12 years that I told you about earlier, they
Uh-huh.
told me they were shutting down in a few months.
Wow. Here's
And
another
guess what?
obstacle.
I'm telling you, guess what? I wasn't none the less bothered because I said, "Oh shoot, okay, I
Okay.
have my HT and I have my my New York State license," so
Mm-hmm.
I was not bothered. And to be honest with you, I just put my resume out there, and
Okay.
the recruiters were coming at me like flies.
Okay, cool. So you guys,
Yeah.
she is a witness. Like I could be, telling you guys in my videos, like there are an abundance of histology jobs. So the
Yes.
recruiters, if you're doing traveling or you're trying to get recruited, a recruiter can also do permanent placement as well. They're not just travel; they have permanent positions as well. So you can definitely reach out to a recruiter to get your permanent job. So,
Yep.
okay, so now that you're, let me go back real quick to your
Okay.
studying. When you failed the test the first time, what do you think? Like for me, when I failed the test the first time, I felt like I really my mental wasn't really there, and I was just so focused on getting a job to change my life. So I really didn't take the time to really absorb Frida, and I
Okay.
was just like, it was just life. Life was just lifing, right? And I needed
Yeah.
to just make more money and change my life. So I did fail, and I got discouraged, and I was just like, oh my God, like this book is just so hard. I'm never gonna do this. Like I can't believe like I didn't pass the test, and it was like just crazy. So what do you think? From the time that you failed, what motivated you to like, what did you change in your study routine? Was it your studying, or was you not understanding the book, or you, because you were starting from scratch? Like what did you do to help you pass the test the second time? Like
Okay.
what was your method of studying?
Okay. So, what helped me to pass for the second time
Mm-hmm.
was, most importantly, I got more serious.
Yeah.
The first time I took it, I wasn't as serious, especially how I had been working in the lab for
You were
12 years.
comfortable. You were
Right.
comfortable.
Exactly. I said,
Yeah.
I got this. I've been doing this. I know
Right.
these things. Yeah.
Right.
And so, yeah, so that was the first thing. The
Okay.
second thing that helped me to pass the exam was this good old book here. And I have you to thank for that as well, because before I was only studying off of this book.
Okay. Which
So,
I got to, yeah.
yeah, so I give all the thanks for, like you said, the daughter and the mother book.
Period.
That helped me out a lot. So those
Okay.
two, being more serious and having the mother and the daughter book.
Okay, awesome. And then as far as whenever I like to know exactly whenever you saw that you passed the test, like what was the first thing that you thought about? Like did you think about, like I want to know like the first thought, because with me when I passed the test, I was thinking like, oh my God, like I passed this test, like
Yeah.
oh my God, like my life, I didn't know how my life was about to change. I didn't know how much I was going to make. I just know I wasn't going to make minimum wage anymore. I didn't know like
Yep.
anything. So how did you, like, what was your thought? It's so like, I don't even got a job yet, but I just knew my life was about to change. So what was that feeling like for you whenever you passed your test?
So whenever I passed my test, in a nutshell, I felt free. I
Great.
felt free.
It
I
felt
didn't
great.
feel, yeah, I
Yeah,
didn't feel bound anymore. I didn't feel bound to a certain lab. I didn't feel bound to a certain salary. I
I
just felt
know.
free to like negotiate and maneuver the way I wanted to, especially how I
That's
was
a good
also coming
feeling.
in with the skills. Yep.
Yeah, that's a great feeling. You do feel free. You feel
Yes,
like because it becomes because it's a career and not just a job. So you feel like you
exactly.
have options and you can make decisions based upon what you're going to do and how you're going to maneuver.
Yes. So
Okay, so let's
true.
get more into your career. Um, as far as being a histotech, I've interviewed a couple people on my channel, and they may start as a histotech, and now they work for the vendor side or they work in IHC. They're a lead. I even had Pam, who owns her own company. So I just wanted to know, as far as your journey in histology, what have you done in the field of histology? Have you done special stains? Have you done it all? Have you done immunohistochemistry? Like, what has your career looked like in histology?
So for the past 12 years, my career looked like, the regular, I would accession, I
Mm-hmm.
would gross, but I would only gross biopsy intestinal tissues.
Okay, GI.
Yes, GI,
Okay.
exactly. And I would embed and
Okay.
I would cut my microtomy.
Mm-hmm.
And in terms of staining, I did the Alshin blue, I did the PAS,
Okay.
I did some silver stains, and I did one immunohistochemistry, which was for H. pylori.
Okay.
So that's my experience there.
Okay.
Hmm.
And as far as jobs in New York, like, what would you suggest for a first time histotech? Um, what type of advice would you give my audience who are looking for a job in, like you say, New Jersey, or or somewhere like New York? Would you suggest a smaller lab, or would you suggest a bigger lab? Because there's pros and cons of both, and there's so much you can learn by working in a smaller lab, to where you become, in my opinion, you troubleshoot, you learn troubleshooting skills really well, especially if it's just you or maybe another histotech, or maybe like a smaller lab. You don't have like all the support of like a lot of lab techs. Most things are manual. So
Right.
what do you have you worked in smaller labs, or the lab that you work at, as they're mostly been bigger labs?
I have worked in small labs and I have worked in bigger labs. And I would have to agree with you, Shan. For a first time beginner in New York, a
Mm-hmm.
smaller lab would be better just for the reasons that you stated.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. So they can get that hands on. I feel like it overall helps you to become a more, I don't want to say a better histotech, but just more, you can work by yourself and you can troubleshoot. You'll be able to not be so stressed out about like block count, block count, block count. You don't become like this person to where it becomes more quantity over your quality, what I like
Yes.
to say. But yeah, so I didn't for New York, it's so, when you think of New York or when you think of California, you think of just like, oh my God, like I'm just gonna get swallowed. So I really wouldn't know, like, should I go to a bigger lab or should I go to a smaller lab? So I'm glad that you think the same thing.
Yeah, I also want to add to that as well. When
Mm-hmm.
you work in a smaller lab, you
Mm-hmm.
get like more experience on
Yeah.
each part of the histology process.
Mm-hmm.
In New York, when I've worked at the larger labs,
Mm-hmm.
they have people just assigned for microtomy or just assigned for
Yeah.
embedding, and that kind of limits your skill set.
Definitely.
Hmm.
Definitely. Yeah, I agree with you, because when you're assigned to something, you really don't have enough skills to be able to go around and try new things. Or
Yeah,
sometimes too, they only trust like their
right,
normal. They think, oh, they're new, they're gonna mess up. But sometimes
right.
you have to like let it go and train other people. Like, let
Yes,
it go.
so
Okay.
true.
So as far as, let's talk about hmm. Okay, let's talk about a pro and a con to being a histotech. So if you could
Okay.
give me one pro or one con, what would it be to becoming a histotech?
Okay. Are we referring to the state of New York or just in general?
Just in general.
Okay.
Yep.
The pro to becoming a histotech is I feel like you're making a difference in someone's life. You're helping out. That's a big
Mm-hmm.
pro for me.
Mm-hmm.
The con is, oh my gosh. I remember reading that question, and I have no plans right now. I really don't.
You don't have any cons?
No,
Okay. Hey, you're the first.
I don't.
You're the first not to have a con, so this career was meant for you.
Yep.
You're the
I
first.
I have nothing but pros. I have no cons so
Good.
far. Yeah.
Okay. So now we're gonna narrow it down. So what's the pro and the con to working in New York as a histotech?
Okay, so the pro, if you're like me, the pro
Uh-huh.
is you can obtain more than one job and get, a good salary,
I know.
because
Okay.
it's such a we need people, we need lab professionals.
Okay.
The con is you just end up working too much, but that's about
I
it.
know. What
Yeah.
ab- what about maybe like the distance from like just say like one of the labs into because New York is so big. So
Hmm.
do you need a car? Like is maybe getting to work a con maybe because of all the people? You don't know if do you need to leave your house really early because there's so many people in the city, or it's just like, I just look at New York like a whole bunch of traffic, like really, really busy. So how is navigating or get like can you work closer to your home, or is it so expensive? Because I live in California, so I know what expensive is, so we can just be very transparent. So if you live close to your job, how expensive is that? Like, does the cost of living match your pay? Because we all want to talk about pay. So
Yes.
um does the cost of living, you think, matches your pay with New York? I know in California, I feel like that the pay does matches the cost of living. So how is it in New York? Do you think people can survive as far as like the cost of living and getting like somewhere to stay, and be able to afford to live in New York as well?
Yes, as a licensed histology technician in New York,
Mm-hmm.
you do get paid very well. Even the recruiters that were reaching out to me, they were
Mm-hmm.
telling me that. They were like, "You want to leave New York? That's one of the highest paying histology technician states."
Mm-hmm.
So you're looking at anywhere between $40
Mm-hmm.
to $60 an hour,
Yeah.
even more if you do IHCs.
Okay.
I have worked in facilities that did do human tissue, but I
Okay.
was there on a provisional permit. But we'll talk about that later.
Okay.
When I worked in the hospital, I was only getting paid $20. That's because I was just so happy to be there. But
That's
you are supposed to be getting paid in the state of New York. This
right.
is on Google and on Indeed. You're
Yeah.
supposed to be getting paid as a licensed histology technician anywhere between $40 and $60 per hour.
Yeah, and also too, I post like jobs on my community tab because a lot of people want to know how much each state or whatever city that they make, and it is on Indeed. You can put salaries,
Mm-hmm.
and I just feel like most of these places, they will try to take advantage, especially like different states that you don't have to be licensed, so they will pay like 20 $25 an hour. And I
Yes.
don't even feel bad because I was right there with you when I worked in Florida. I started out with $22 an hour, but I
Yep.
was new, and $22 an hour at that time was the most I had ever made. So I
Me
wasn't
too.
like, yeah, so I wasn't like tripping about it, but it was my
Right.
first job, and I was so happy to make $22 an hour. And you're right, whenever you work in a state like California or New York and you're making between $40 to $60 an hour, people will look at you like you got two heads if you say you're leaving. You're just like, like the money's great, but also to the quality. If you go to another state or travel, there's so many different benefits that you can do as well, which you'll find out whenever you start traveling and you start, doing your contracts. You get the per diem money. The
Yep.
base pay may not be $40 $50 an hour, no, but you make up with the per diem, which is, and you get to live rent free. So a lot of different things that you can do as a traveler. So I think that's a very good, tip that you made. Like, okay, look, I'm willing to leave, may not permanently, but I'm willing to take a travel assignment to see
Yeah.
what else is out there, because the more you
So
know.
Yep.
It's going to help your resume, and it's going to help your overall, you're going to be an overall great tech. The skill.
Absolutely, absolutely. And just to interject here for a bit,
Mhm.
when I was speaking with a traveling recruiter, she
Mhm.
had mentioned this hospital that I'm very familiar with. I'm very with the staff. Very familiar with the staff, and they're
Mhm.
like family. When you work as a in histology lab, it's like a family. It's a
Yeah.
team.
Yeah.
And she was saying for a travel tech to work at that hospital,
Mhm.
they are paying $2,700 a
A
week.
week.
Yeah, she says
Yeah.
that's the highest traveling histology technician position. And I know those people. So if any of you
That's
have your
good.
yeah, if any of you have your HT or you're licensed in the state of New York,
Yeah.
you check out the pathology lab at Montefiore Nyack,
I
okay?
may I may check them out.
Okay, yeah. I mean, that's some great money. That's some
That's
great
so good.
money.
I may just check them out. You never know. I mean,
Yep. Yep. She says that's
I'm
the highest traveling gig in the
hold on.
nation.
Let me put that high. Okay, travel. You know what you know why I appreciate about this interview. You
Hmm.
dropping names, honey. I
Oh
like that.
no, that's why I'm here, Shannon, Histo family. I'm here to help the
You
people.
dropping company. You dropping names. What's the name of that? I
Oh
might
yeah,
write this
it's
down for myself.
Montefiore Nyack.
How you spell that? MON.
Oh boy, Montf
Uh huh.
TEF. Sorry,
Uh huh.
IORE Nyack. Yeah.
NY.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Nyack. I left you hanging there a bit. I'm sorry.
Is this a New York name? Montefiore Nyack. Is that a hospital?
Yeah, Montefiore is like New York Presbyterian. They have hospitals all over the place.
Okay.
And Nyack is the location, so they just call it Montefiore Nyack. And that is 45 minutes north of New York City.
You said how much you said how much you said a week?
It is 2,700 a week for a traveling histology technician. And I
Okay.
know those people. They have a great team there. I worked with them.
So we could say Samara sent me.
Yeah, yeah,
Samara Samara
absolutely. They know me.
Samara
Yes.
yeah, we could say she referred us.
Yes. Say
Okay.
my name. Samara. Samara referred you.
Samara referred us.
Yes.
Okay, so I had a question too whenever we was typing that. Okay, so real quick, this is a question that I was just thinking about. You worked in the lab with animal tissue?
Yes, I did.
I've always wanted to do that. I have a question about that. So this is probably stupid, but the
It's
animal is not there, right? Is it just you just get the biopsy of the animal?
yeah, I just get the biopsy of the animal.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is the process the same where it goes through fixation and bedding and everything like that? The process is the same thing they would do in regular histology.
Yes. The
That's super
same.
cool.
Yeah, the same thing.
And
Yep.
that's super, especially if you're a pet parent. That's like super cool. I think that's really cool. And then, okay, so I just want to know that for myself because I've never met
Okay.
anyone who worked in the like who did animal specimens. So this is really cool. I'm gonna definitely talk to you later about that. Um,
Yeah,
on the
absolutely.
side, I'll talk to you about that. Um,
Absolutely.
okay, so we talked about the pro and con of working in New York, the pro and con of working or being a histotech. As far as what would you tell my audience who is looking to get into histology? Like, um, what would be something that you would tell my audience? The reasons why they should pursue like histology. Like, what is the reason why we should be in histology? And I don't get paid to talk about histology, but
No, I understand.
but it's a great career, and it's something that a lot of people don't know about. So if you could give one piece of advice to them and they're watching today, what would you tell my audience as far as like something about you or something about histology or how how you're because you're motivating us just by being here. So what would you tell actually let me rephrase that. What would you tell your younger self before you got into the career of histology? Like, what would you say to yourself to help to get to where you're at today?
Okay. Um, what I would say is, Samara, you're doing a great job, because
Hmm.
I have three major things that I want to answer your question with.
Okay.
Okay. So the first one that I believe is, this career in histology is a great pathway for other careers, in my
Hmm.
opinion. You know, you get like a really good insight into how like nurses move, doctors move, cytologists move. And you might want to do some other things within the health profession. And
Hmm.
histology is tied to all of that. So that's my number one. My
Okay.
number two is, you make a good living. The pay is good.
Hey, it's good.
Yes, the pay is good. You make a very decent living. Number three is, you're helping people out.
Hmm.
You're helping in their results, and you're just, you're being there. So
Right.
that's my number three.
Yeah, that's some really good advice. If you guys got any questions for Samara, please drop them down in the comment section down below. Do not be don't hesitate to ask us anything that you want to ask us, as far as studying, as far as school, as far as jobs, as far as anything histology. Now, I wanted to ask you on your travel journey that you're about to start.
Yes.
Okay, so, what made you really like, okay, say, you know what, I'm going to do this? Like what could you drop any hints about, or can you tell us what's your first state or city that you're going to go to, or like you don't know just yet? You're just not doing, like, how was your process? I think I got a thousand questions. Okay, first thing is,
Okay,
how was your
ask
process?
them one by one, because
Let me
I'm
do one
getting.
by one. Okay, how was your first experience working with a recruiter and doing the process? Did it move fast or did it move slow? Like, how was that for you?
Okay, so my first experience working with a recruiter, or shall I
Hmm.
say recruiters,
You're
because
right.
they were coming to me like flies. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, my phone couldn't stop going off for them.
Right.
Okay, so my first experience working with recruiters, I'll say I had to narrow it down for who I
Hmm.
felt most comfortable working with, especially
Hmm.
with taking on this travel histology tech journey. So I
Right.
narrowed it down to one recruiter, and with that, uh, yeah, what
Okay.
else? Yeah,
So, okay, no problem. So, with that being said, when you found, because I look at recruiters like car salesmen, I don't know, I just equate that to,
I do too. Yes,
it's like they're just like, it's like, what is the word when you go to a car lot? Haggling or something. I don't know the
yeah,
name of it, but yeah.
I understand.
Yeah, so you do need to find a recruiter that you trust, right? So
Yes.
the second thing is, once you was told about the job, did you interview for the job, or did, like, how did that process work for you?
Okay. So after I settled on a recruiter,
Mhm.
what that recruiter did was just send my resume out to different facilities.
Okay.
And if the facility liked what they saw in my resume, they would give me a call, and
Okay.
there would be an interview. And so that's what we did for about 20 to 15 minutes. And
Okay.
then after that, the facility would talk back to the recruiter and say, okay, I like Samara, or okay, I don't like Samara. And then
Mhm.
I, in turn, would say, oh, I like that facility,
Or I
or
didn't.
I do not like that facility. And
Mhm.
if I like them and they like me, it's a match, and I work there.
Okay,
That's how
cool.
that's been.
Okay, good. And then as far as the traveling, are you nervous about your first assignment? Are you going to your okay, first, have you saw your pay package, like how it's going to be broken down? Because it's kind of hard to explain pay packages to the histotechs, especially. That be the main thing when they ask me about traveling, like, how does the pay
Mhm.
packaging work? So with your pay package or with your travel assignment, what were some things that you was looking for to make you say yes to the job? Like, were you looking for a location, the right amount of per diem, this, like, what was some things, like the block count, what you'll be doing, like what made you say yes to the job that you're saying yes to?
The only thing that made me say yes to this job was the
Mm-hmm.
location, because I'm a
Okay.
person, I do not drive. I don't know
Okay.
how to drive. I don't want to drive. So it was all about the
The
location.
location.
Everything else was secondary to me.
Okay, cool. And
Mhm.
do you see after, because is your assignment for 13 weeks, or because normally the assignments usually start at 13 weeks or sometimes 6 months. After you see yourself with your first assignment done, do you see yourself probably traveling again, or do you think that this is something that you may continue to do, or you think you may go back to being permanent at another lab?
Yeah, Shan and Histo family. I would love to travel for as long as I can, provided that I get a great experience out of this. And that's all I want, just a great
Yeah.
experience. And once I get that, I will keep traveling. Yeah, why not?
Why not? Right.
Yeah.
What is one thing that you haven't done in histology that you would like to do?
I would love to do frozen sections. I I've seen it done, but I've never done it, and I would like to do that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I
All
have
right.
no idea of how to do it, but I
I'm,
love
I should do frozen sections. Um,
it.
Frozen, you will actually love frozen sections.
Okay.
Frozen sections is actually fun, especially if you get like with a derm lab. If you
Yeah.
want to do mows or do frozen sections, I think that's a great thing for anyone to learn is to how to use the cryostat. So
Yes.
that's something, and also too, most of the hospitals they have like the frozen section rooms. Frozen sections is a whole beast within itself, especially if you work in like where the cases are coming in back to back
Oh,
and you're
wow.
cutting, you're trying. It's like it's this whole excitement. I'm not sure if you watched my interview with Dane. He's a Mohs histotech. Um, but if you go back, if you guys want to know about frozen sections or learn about Mohs, I think that's like an amazing avenue for you to do. So definitely put that on your bucket list because you can go somewhere in one of your travel assignments and they say, hey, like, do you want to learn frozen sections? I would definitely tell you, yeah. Because if you know how to cut in a cryostat, you'll all right. If you're not cutting a microtome, you can cut on the cryostat.
Yeah, absolutely. When I was working at a hospital on my provisional permit,
Mm-hmm.
they had a cryostat there, but it
Mm-hmm.
was just so intense. When the stuff would come in, I would kind of shy away from it and get someone else to come and do it because it was just so intense. So that's why I just never learned. But now I'm
You
ready.
ready?
Yeah,
Cool.
I'm
Cool.
ready.
Okay, so we're gonna get some questions here. I see we got some
Oh,
questions.
Sean, before
And
we
yeah,
start with the questions,
no problem.
um I want to talk about the changes to the New
Yes.
York State. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So it's the floor is yours.
Okay. All
Okay.
right.
Let them know. Let me just say this real quick. You guys, Samara reached out to me because she wanted to tell you guys some changes that are happening in New York. And this is like the inside scoop. If I had like a breaking news inside scoop little banner, I will put that up right now, because we getting the tea today.
Yes,
So
we are. It's
we're getting
piping
the tea.
hot.
It's piping hot, girl.
Yes.
Right. So Samara's going to drop some tools. She's giving us the tea. So you guys get ready because she's going to let us know how we can work possibly in New York City. So what's the tea, Samara?
Okay, so the T is like me, many of you histology lab professionals who wanted
Mm-hmm.
to work in New York have been discouraged because New York State had made it so hard just to get the license, even if you had a strong science background or
Right.
you had your HT or HTL. You would think that since you have your HT or HTL, that would trump a state license, but in New York State, it doesn't. And I
Right.
know people who have been turned away to not even sit for the exam, and they had a strong science background and they had their HT and HTL.
Mm-hmm.
But with the changes of the enacted Chapter 446,
Mm-hmm.
that makes it easier for people to get the New York State license. And like I said before, Chapter 446 just states that if you have your HT or HTL, you automatically get the New York State license. So, what I need for my HT and HTL holders to do is to go to www.op.nysed.gov/histotechnician/license requirements. And all you have to do is fill out your application form, pay your fee, and you will get your license within 3 to 4 weeks. Now, the other route I have here are for those who do not have their HT or HTL. And this would have applied to me if I didn't have it.
Okay.
But what you can do is go to op.nysed.gov/professions /histotechnicians /licensure requirements. Now, this is only for my people with a strong science background. You're going to go to that website I just talked about, and you're going to apply, you're going to pay your fee, and you will sit the exam. Unlike your HT and HTL holders, you will have to sit for the exam. And
Okay. So I'm sorry. So the difference between the two is one you don't have to sit for an exam, but one you do.
yes,
Okay. Is
yes,
that what's the reason for that? Is it because one
um,
is HT and one HTL?
exactly,
Okay.
exactly. Yeah. So your HT, HTL holders, you're straight because you have your national certification. No need for you to sit for the exam. But for my people with a strong science background and you want to work in a histology lab,
Mm-hmm.
you have to apply, pay, and sit for the exam. Now,
Oh. Okay.
for my people with a okay, so New York is crazy like this.
Right.
If you apply for to sit for the exam and New York State rejects you for whatever reason or tells you to go back to school or whatever reason, because they're infamous and they probably will do it. It's a 50% chance that they will do it for whatever reason. But
Mm-hmm.
if that happens, I need for you to go to opnysed.gov/professions /histotechnicians provisional perm I mean sorry provisional dash permit dash requirements. Okay, and I'll give Shan these links so that you guys can have access to these links properly.
Oh
Okay,
yeah, that'd be good because I'm probably not typing it right.
yeah,
Okay.
it's I'll give you the link.
Okay.
And once you get on that page, Histo family, those with a strong science background and they didn't let you sit for the exam. Once you get on that page, I'm going to need you to click on application forms to your left of the page. And then on that page, after you click on application forms on that page, I'm going to need you to click on Form 1. You're going to fill that out online and pay your fee. After that, you'll see some other forms below Form 1. You're going to skip all of those and you're going to go straight to Form 5PP. And what you're going to do with that form is print it out physically.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where your test of will is going to show. Because with that provisional form, the 5PP, you're going to need a facility to sign off on it, stating that they will take you in and you can work in their lab. Okay.
Why is it so hard to? Why?
Girl, that's why I'm here. I'm telling you, New York State, this is what they do. And they need professionals. And look at how they treat people who trying to get into the profession.
Why? I don't understand why is it so hard, like to get up in there.
I'm telling you, that's why New York
We're
State.
working for the White House or something. Okay.
Exactly. Exactly. I'm telling
Okay.
yeah, but this is what you have to do just in case.
How you know this chapter 446 stuff? Like, how you know this? Do you work for the government too?
No, they
You
told
did
me
your
that
research.
as soon as I passed my HT, because
Uh-huh.
this facility, they wanted to hire me after I got my HT, and they were like, okay, now that you have your HT, check out chapter enacted chapter 446.
Wow, it's so much
Yeah,
to do.
yeah, it
Um,
is.
that's a lot. I'm thinking like, okay, like they're making it hard for you to like.
It's
Okay, let
been
me
that
ask you a
big.
question. As far as interviews, this is
Mm-hmm.
what I need to know because I haven't did an interview in so long. So as far as interviews, tell us what would be some questions because they're making it
Okay.
hard with the chapters. You got a chapter for the interviews too? Because I don't even know what they're gonna ask. So how is it? Is it well? How is it interviewing for a job in New York? Like,
Okay, I would tell you straightforward how it was interviewing for a job in New York.
okay,
The interviewing process doesn't begin until they tell you get on that microphone. Most of
oh,
the places that I've interviewed at for histology jobs in New York, they
okay,
tell you get on that microphone. Let's see your skills before we continue this interview any further and waste your time and waste our time. So they want
oh
to see
wow,
where you are with your microtomy skills. And if you're good, the
hmm
interview shall continue. If you're not, then it will come to a stop right there. But that's the first thing they do when they interview you in New York. You have to
okay.
get on that microphone. So don't go to these interviews flim flamming. Make sure you got your stuff straight.
Okay. And also too, just say for instance, if you do cut or embed and cut for them, they're staining it probably like right then and there, probably while you are maybe in the interview or they call you back. They wait till it stains or they watch you cut and then you go into the next step or how will they know
Okay.
you how will they know if your tissue's good? Like how will they know unless they're actually waiting for it to stain and they tell you come back like tomorrow or something?
Okay, so Histo family, they're only looking at how you cut and how the quality of the ribbons turn out. They
Gotcha.
they they're not checking for all of the staining and stuff like
Okay.
that. I've had like real weird interviews where they actually stood over me while I cut.
Oh, that makes you
Yeah.
nervous.
Oh my gosh, I failed that interview. I'll tell you
You
that.
did?
I did not get a call back. The woman who interviewed me, she was so like nice with it though. She was like, "Oh, okay. Well, we'll give you a call. It was nice meeting you." And I
Nice
knew right
thing.
then and
You be
there.
like, I'm not. You be like, I ain't cleaning this up then.
Man, I knew right then and there. But the only reason why I failed that interview is because I was so nervous because three of them were standing right over me.
Wow,
And
three people.
three people, the two of the lab managers and a worker.
Right.
Like I was saying, they only look at how you cut, how fast you can cut, and the quality of the ribbon.
Gotcha. Okay, because I've had where three people are actually in my interview, and that's fine. But to have three people stand over me, normally that's like, okay, it's like, okay, can you give me like a little bit of space? Let me,
Yeah,
Whew,
they
okay,
stood right behind me and they watched me, and I'm like, oh my gosh,
yeah,
yeah,
that had to be a little scary, a little intimidating.
it was very,
Okay, let me
very.
ask you. Let me ask you an interview question real quick.
Mm-hmm.
This is like somebody put, "Oh my god, I failed." That's what uh Ellie Nikki said. "Oh my god, I failed." I know, me too, child.
That was
Uh,
so correct. Oh my gosh.
um, what would you give as an example? Because a lot of interviewers they ask this question, so I'm pretty sure this has been asked to you too.
Mm-hmm.
What would you do if how do you how can I put it into words? How do you handle conflict? Because
Oh,
we're working in a lab with so many different personalities and so many different nationalities.
yes,
Um young I don't want to say young, experienced histotechs and not experienced histotechs, people who just how do you deal with conflict? What have you seen? Have you ever had someone in your job that it was just like conflict, and like how do you deal with it, like whether it was negative, like how do you deal with conflict and especially in a big histology lab or a small one? What would be the right thing to say when it comes to that? Because sometimes there's a lot of drama in histology labs,
yes,
and
unfortunately.
unfortunately, and sometimes patient care don't be number one.
Right.
So for all the new histotechs and all the ones who are about to graduate and they have like they're trying to just make it and get their first job, and then they have to come into a lab where there's drama. How do you deal with that? How do you stay positive with within all of that, with all that negativity?
Okay, so I'll preface that question by saying this first.
Mm-hmm.
Having a good team, they say is half the battle, but for me, that's all the battle. I don't care how
Period.
much work I have. As
Yeah.
long as I have a good team and we have respect for each other and the work environment is
Right.
good, we are fine.
Yeah.
But the way I have resolved conflict in the lab in the past, small lab, I'll give you
Yeah.
for an example. I went to my lab manager or supervisor and I had him call in the person that I was having a conflict with, which
Mm-hmm.
happened to be the pathologist.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
And we all sat down in my lab manager's office and
Mm-hmm.
we spoke it out. We talked it out. And after that, we couldn't have been closer. We could
Yeah.
not have been closer. So that is one way that I resolved the conflict. I didn't try to resolve it myself. I went to the
Right.
lab manager and I had him resolve it for us because I
Right.
know myself and I'm just not trying to do that.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. Now, the second time I had a conflict with someone, this was in a big lab.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the attitude just was not there. So I was advised to go to the supervisor and have the supervisor talk to them.
Oh, okay.
And so that also, what do you call it, made everything so much easier
Yeah,
after.
they were a mediator. They was able
Right.
to, yeah.
Yes. So I would say if you have any conflict, don't try and resolve it yourself. Go to the manager or the supervisor because that's what they're there for
Right.
and have them resolve the conflict. But like I said, if you're working with a good team in the histo lab, that's
Mm-hmm.
all the battle right there.
Yeah. Good advice. I really that what a great advice because sometimes we really we go by everyday life and we're just focusing on patient care and just the workload, and then sometimes it's just we're so busy to
Yeah.
where sometimes people emotions can get in the way, or sometimes a lot of things can happen to where you sometimes have to just like, okay, like it may be things I want to say myself, but you know what.
Oh
Let
yeah.
me just and I say that because it can happen to me. I
Mhm.
feel it, my emotions get in the way of things
Yeah.
sometimes, and not to say it's I'm wrong, but sometimes I have to think, okay, like I don't need to resolve things. I need to tell someone, so that's what they're there for. That's what management is there
Exactly.
for. And everyone's
Exactly.
not going to always be on the same page. So I just wanted to say that because we get those type of questions in interviews, and how to resolve things, or what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses. And I just sometimes I do travel histology videos, and I do interview how to land the job, but I just wanted to hear from someone else's point of view. What would you say, or what would you tell our audience, how to answer that question, because sometimes we need to hear different perspectives on how to answer that. So
Yeah.
thank you for the information.
Go to the lab manager, people. Histo family, that's what they're there for. Okay?
Period.
Yeah.
Okay, now that you've given us all the tools to, you can email me all the links, and then I'll post it in my community tab for the gang to know, as far as like how I just put like some of the things, but it'll be good if I can actually post certain things and a breakdown of what to do. So we really appreciate that. And what, as far as knowing people who were turned down for jobs, like it's sort of like you're an advocate for us, like, hey, like this state needs more histotechs.
It
This
does.
state needs more, and we're not getting that help. Do you find that there's a shortage in your labs because everyone is being turned down and you guys are maybe sometimes overworked? And
Oh
or you
yeah.
can't keep histotext, or you can't hire anyone because no one has the license? Because you told me, hey, before I even got an interview, they said, do you have your license, or we can't
Right.
even continue to interview. So are your labs, is the block count maybe higher in the, you don't have enough techs in New York? Is because you guys are not approving applications, or because we can't get the state license? But now that this has changed, so you think this will be a big help for people, so we can actually get a job in New York? This is going to be better for New York if we can actually get licensed and more people can move there.
Oh yeah, this is gonna be a help, but I would be honest with you, it's not gonna be a big help. I'll tell
Right.
you that much. Because what New York State did was just crack the door open. I think
Oh,
they should have opened it a little bit more.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially just okay. So they have it where HTL holders can get the license, but if
Hmm.
you're not and you have a strong science background, you can sit for the exam. But what they should do is everybody who have a strong science background, just
Hmm.
open up the door for them to sit for the exam. And I
Right.
think that would help out a lot
Okay.
because what is happening is that we have so much work and so little bit of
Of
technicians
text. Yeah.
that they are outsourcing the work to like some
Yeah.
different states
They're
and some
sending, so
yeah,
basically they're sending blocks to
right,
different states, and then you can't get the good quality from in-house because you're sending the work out when that work can stay there and you can just hire more histotechs.
right,
Okay.
exactly.
Okay. You know what? And another thing too, in your lab, or if you've seen in other labs, do you guys, how was the promotion within your labs? Can lab techs become histotechs? Is there a lot of promotion from within? Do you see a lot of that within your laboratory, or have you seen that, or have you known anyone who's a lab tech and now they're histotechs? So that's what we do. That's what I'm used to. So I didn't know in New York, is it the same way where you guys, encourage promotion within the lab?
Um, yes, you
Okay.
can become a lab tech to a histotech,
Okay.
provided that you have your New York State license.
Oh
Yes.
wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That license thing. Okay.
Yeah, that's a doozy.
That's a big one.
That's a very important one, family.
Okay.
Yes.
So if you're ready, we can, did you have anything else before we go
Yes,
through the questions?
I do. I know
Okay.
it was long-winded, but
No,
I just
no.
I
Listen, we are family. We're good. This is the
okay.
gang. We this is the gang. We here for as long as we need to be here. So yeah, tell us whatever you need to tell us. We're here. We're not going anywhere.
Okay, so I know I had stated earlier about Form 5 PP.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to pick up where I left off.
Okay.
Okay, so you're going to print out Form 5 PP. You're going to find a facility that's going to sign off on it, okay?
Okay.
And then once you get that form signed off, you're going to mail it back physically to the address at the bottom of the paper. And once you get your provisional permit within 3 to 4 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
you can start working as a histotech legally in the state of New York. But I just want to let people know that that form is only relegated to you working at the facility that it was signed off at. So you can't go,
Oh, you can't transfer to another facility,
no,
another
not at
job.
all. No, you have to stay at that
Okay,
facility.
so Mar, I'm gonna be real with you. This sounds like too much to be in New York City with the rats. No, I'm joking.
And there are a lot. There are a lot. Yes,
That's what we
but
know about you guys having big rats. Like that sounds like too much to
oh
be.
my goodness.
Okay, you guys, you might. Okay, that's a
But
lot.
but but this is why New York State has shot itself in the foot. It's too much. But
Jesus.
that's why I'm here to help you guys. And I'm only mentioning the provisional permit to you all, Histo family, is because that is an avenue to get to the New York State license.
Okay.
So once you get that provisional permit, you work in the lab and you can have your supervisor or manager
Mm-hmm.
sign off on you taking the HT. And
Okay.
once you pass your HT, you automatically get your New York State license. Okay, so
Okay.
that's an avenue that
Okay.
I would suggest people take if they turn you down to sit for the exam.
Okay.
Now, that provisional permit is only valid for 1 year, but you can renew it for one more year, family, and that's it. So you have a total of 2 years.
2 years.
So during that time, while you're working in the lab and getting paid and acquiring the skills, I'm going to need for you guys to study hard for the HT so that you can get that and ultimately get
Oh.
the license, which is, what you came for.
So basically this provisional permit is for those who maybe just got out of school and they need a job and they haven't taken the ASCP yet, or if they've taken it.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
But for
Yep.
someone like me who has an ASCP, I can just do the first form that you told me about.
Correct.
And
Yes.
then that's not the 5 PP. That's the
No.
chapter 446.
Yeah. You
Okay.
We'll be
Okay.
doing chapter 446. Yep.
Okay. And then I don't have to sit for the test. I just fill out the license to
Yeah.
work. It should be that easy for everyone. But I
Yeah.
see what you're
You,
saying now. I see what you're saying.
yep, Shan, you can even apply for that after this broadcast.
Girl, I don't know who watching me. They're gonna be like Shanika on the she on her show trying to go to New York. They're gonna be telling on me. They're gonna be
Well,
they're gonna be like she on there trying to get a job in New York City. I don't know.
well, you'll be in the greatest city in the world and get
That's
paid
what
real
I
good
heard.
for it.
They
Yep.
said they said if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere.
That's for sure.
That's what they
That's for
told me.
sure.
That's what they told me.
Yep.
Okay, so now we got that.
Okay.
So the
Can
provisional
I?
permit.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so go
Yes.
ahead.
No. What were you saying?
Okay, so after they can sit for they can at least get the job. It's for
Mm-hmm.
2 years. So basically after they sit for the test and get the license, they don't have to do the provisional permit anymore.
Right.
Right. So this is sort of like the provisional permit is sort of like maybe like a temporary license or something, a temporary state license to
You're
be
correct.
able to work while you're waiting to take the ASCP.
Exactly.
So you're
Exactly.
okay. So basically, you're saying, look, because things do take time. So okay, and I'm glad that it's sort of like a middle waiting period because
It
from the
is.
time that you finish with school, you're studying, right? But maybe you're studying and you're not ready to take the test yet, but you still need a job. And sometimes too, it's good if you can be in that environment because it helps you to pass the test sometimes when you can see and do it every day. So
Right.
that provisional license permit will help you. So like a what is it called? Driver's permit before you get your driver's license.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
good one. I like
Yep.
that, Samara. Good one.
Yeah. And another
Okay.
upside to that is, like you stated before, I probably may be repeating what you said, but another
Yeah, no
upside
problem.
to that is, when you get your provisional permit, you have someone right there to sign off on the forms for you to take the national certification.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. To take the national now, okay. How can I put this? If
Mm-hmm.
you've already completed the program, you shouldn't have to have anyone to sign off if their NACL's approved. Like me, I went to a histology. I actually did a histology program, right?
Yes.
And I got my associates. So only part that needs I in my mind, I don't think you should have to have anyone to sign off or anything unless they're signing off because you're using it as maybe as a part of your clinicals or something.
Right. There you
Okay,
go. There you go. Right there. That's it
okay,
right there. You're
okay.
signing off because you
You've
know
done
this
that
as
part.
well. Yeah.
Okay.
You need them to sign off on your clinicals.
Okay, I get that. Okay, that makes sense now.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, so that makes sense. Okay, so so after that is that the last step once you fill out the form of your manager?
I got two more routes.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay, so this other route, uh, one thing that concerns me is these are for people with a strong science background,
Okay.
but you don't possess the skills in histology. Now that's going to be tough for you because what happens is that if they sign off on your provisional permit, they want someone to come in, hitting the ground running to help
Okay.
with the workload.
Okay.
So, if you don't know any of the skills in histology, that may be a little tough. However, I do know for a fact that Antech, that
Mm-hmm.
company I mentioned earlier, and
Yep.
also HistoWiz,
Mm-hmm.
they are more likely to train you in the processes of histology. Now,
Okay.
for those of you who come to New York and do find a facility to sign off on your provisional permit, what I need you all to do is help everyone else out who was in your position so that
Mm-hmm.
they can know where to go and get the skills as well.
That's a good thing, and that's why, yeah, we don't do any gatekeeping over here.
Right,
So
at
I want
all.
to share. So for that example, for
Mm-hmm.
someone who doesn't have the histology background, so that's when I see. Okay, so it's two things to that. So either they were, let's just say, like a lab tech, and they want to become a histo tech, but they didn't. go to an histology program, right?
Mhm.
But they've been working in the lab for they've had lab experience, so now and they have a bachelor's degree because
Right.
it's so many different scenarios that I've seen like in my career. So someone with a bachelor's degree and just say they got hired as a lab tech and they want to now become a histotech. They've already did all their sciences, but they didn't go to an approved school. So if they've been working in the laboratory environment for like maybe a year or two, then they can get signed off to take the ASCP. That's what I'm used to.
Okay, and some do that. Some
Yeah,
facilities do that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, but with New York, they're
Mm.
not even going to do that unless you work for the animal. They're not even going to do that at all. Like, hey, you've been no. They're just like no.
Yeah, you may find a hospital or a reference lab that may do it.
Okay,
Yeah, but it's gonna be very tough. I will tell you that.
okay.
Yeah.
How are the how are the histology schools? Because I had a guest, Dane, who's from New York, and he went to I forgot he's gonna kill me. Something skills.
SUNY Broom, was it?
Yeah, that's yeah, one of them. And then
Okay.
yeah, that one in another school. He told me that's in New York, that he went to. And then they have a histology program. And like, are you guys in New York? Are you guys good with providing your histology school or your histology students with clinicals so they can be able to, or do normally they have to find their own clinical sites? Do you know?
Okay, that's a great question, Shan. And
Yeah.
Histo family, that was actually the last route that I was
Okay.
going to mention. So there is a school in New York State. Um, it is called SUNY Broome, SUNY Broome, and they have a 2 year histology program where, and it's all online. It's 100% online, and you go and you take your science courses and you take all the theoreticals,
Hmm.
and they have their own lists and they hook you up with facilities where you can go and get your practical done. Okay.
Okay.
And in the end, they help you to pass the New York State histology licensing exam. And
Okay.
then they would help you with the HTL exam as well. But their main goal at SUNY Broome is to help you to acquire that New York State histology license. 2 years,
2 years.
all online.
Okay. So if it's 2 years all online, then the lab part,
Okay, so with the lab part, they
yeah.
have connections. Okay, that
Okay. Good.
school has connections and they will hook you up with facilities
Okay.
to help you acquire those skills. So
Okay. Good.
yeah, that's another avenue that many of you can take. I mean, you kind of have it all in one, but you're gonna have to pay for it.
Yeah. And it's
Yeah,
probably yeah. So, it's probably like a maybe like a private school is probably a little bit more expensive,
it
but
is.
the convenience.
It right. The
I
convenience.
mean, the convenience of that because you can
Yep.
still be able to work and
Yep.
go to school and then just go. So that's the convenience, and they're still going to provide you with the clinical site, so that's good.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're in the comments. They know about us Cobble skill. Yep, that's
Okay.
Cobble skill. Yeah, that was it. That was the other one. I knew there was another one.
Okay. It's
Okay.
the first time I heard about that.
Yeah, that one's called Cobble Skill.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, so those are
Good
the
to
three
know.
avenues then. So
Mhm.
basically the last one would be online
Right.
and you the clinical because it's a big thing, especially here on the West Coast where a lot of places like they don't have clinical sites for the
Right.
students, especially after COVID.
Right.
Um in Florida, we didn't have that issue. We had clinical sites. So here it's like, I get a lot of DMs and messages saying, they sometimes they want to give up because they don't have a site. And I'm like telling them, don't give up,
Don't give up.
try this, try that. I mean, anything that you like, maybe go talk to a histology department, just maybe sometimes you have to go do your own legwork. But
Oh
I would
yes.
just normally suggest before you do sign up with a program, make sure that you have that they provide that clinical site for you
Hmm.
unless you already work in a histology lab, and then your histology lab can be your clinical site, which is a blessing.
Exactly.
That's
Yep.
a blessing.
That's great advice, Shan. Great
Yeah.
advice. So,
Like,
Histo
don't give
family,
up.
I hope you're listening. That's great advice.
They better be listening. I'm joking.
That's
Yeah.
true.
They better be listening. I'm not doing this for my blood pressure. Okay.
It's true.
Okay. So you provide us with those three avenues, which is great, by the way.
Hmm.
Really, really appreciate you dropping those gems. And don't worry, when this live is over, I will be playing clips on my social media. You guys can follow me at the Lab Girl Circle on Instagram, and I will be posting clips on the YouTube channel as well. So this live is up. If you guys find this live valuable right now, I should have been telling you guys, please thumbs up the live, because we are dropping some gems today. So thumbs
Yes,
up the
ma'am.
live, share this live for your classmates, for your other histotechs. Share this live, get this out, because who else has someone on their show talking about New York other than me? You're my second New Yorker, and you guys been dropping gems. So
Yep.
I really appreciate it, you guys being on here. So you ready for your questions?
Yeah, absolutely. Bring them on.
Bring them
Okay.
on. Okay, so let's see. So we was going. Let me scroll through, because you guys got any questions? Go ahead and drop them down below, please. So we're just gonna go through the ones I seen. So Ellie Nikki wants to say hi,
Hello, Ellie.
and she said congratulations too for your first travel assignment. Which, by the way, you didn't tell us what state you were going to, but I understand if you can't tell us.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you guys after the fact, okay?
Good one. We don't need
Yeah, I'll
we
be
don't need
back.
the killers to show up and
It's true. It's true. It really is. I'm like, I can't have nothing messing this up for me.
I know, good vibes. We're sending good vibes your way.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So I did put HistoWiz and Antech. You guys, if you guys are joining the live now, that is two two labs that are, how can I put it, that does
Yeah,
uh
animal tissue.
animal tissue. They are located in New York, and she did say that these two labs will probably be like the best, options for you if you don't have your license just yet. Is that,
Right,
did I paraphrase that?
exactly.
Okay.
Because they don't require the New York State license, and you do all of the process in those labs from grossing straight
Okay.
on up.
Okay, cool. And so Ellie says, so does New Jersey require a certification to work in histology?
Okay, so New Jersey, some labs do require a certification to work in their labs.
Okay.
Other labs, you don't need. New
Okay.
Jersey is not one of those states that require a license, so you're fine.
You're good. All
Yeah.
right. That's good. Let me see. Okay. Ellie says, does anyone know, or has any laws been enacted in New York as of 2024 where if you already have your New York state license, can you complete an application to get your ASCP certificate to work in a state outside of New York state?
That's a big question. I'm sorry. Can you break that down for me, Shan? I have so much
Yeah.
going on in that question.
Let me see. Let's go. Let's start with the first one then. Does anyone know, or I guess has any laws been enacted in New York State as of 2024 where if you have already had, okay, so if you already had your license, can you complete an application to get your ASCP certificate to work in a state outside? So, okay, Ellie, if you can, I'm having some issue probably understanding your question.
Me
I'm going to
too.
assume that you're saying, okay, I already got a New York State license. So okay, so let me ask you this question. I probably asked it before, Samara. So basically, if you can't have one without the other, is that correct? You
Uh,
have to have your ASCP. Can you have a New York State license without having an ASCP?
yes, you can.
Okay,
Yes, you can.
so okay, so with this one right here, I guess she may be saying that she already has a state license. Okay, I think I know what she's saying.
Okay.
um to get an ACP certificate. So basically, I'm going to assume that you're saying, "Hey, I have a New York state license, but guess what? I want to go to, let's just say, Texas.
Okay.
And do you need an ASCP? Yes, you do. Because you still, because I'm so used to having one before the other. I'm so used to having just the ASCP, and you only need the state license for the different states, right? So if
Right.
you already have a New York state license, but you don't have ASCP, you're going to need to be ASCP certified to work just in general. Unless it's sometimes some states or cities don't require it, but that's because I remember, I think I've heard back in the day they can train anyone off the street to do to be a histotech, but they don't get
Oh,
paid. They get paid like 16, $17 an hour. But I don't think that's the case, now. So I would definitely tell you to get ASCP certified. That way you'll be able to have your certification to work, because you're gonna have to need a license. You're gonna need a license, not a state license, but a certification license
right.
to practice.
Exactly.
Yeah, because I would want someone licensed to do my biopsy.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's
Yes.
just me. So that's how I'm thinking she's asking that question. If I'm wrong, Ellie, let me know.
Yes. Let us know.
Yeah. She's saying, yeah, the bigger labs are more quantity over quality.
Same.
Yeah, it depends, because I will say I work in a big lab now, and quality is definitely number one.
That's good.
It depends on the lab.
Right.
Yeah, it depends on the lab and what that, because quality is number one where I
Yes.
work at. So, and
It
it's a big
really
lab.
is.
Yeah. Let me see. Okay, so Ellie says she don't drive, or they don't drive either. So
Okay.
yeah, they're saying, so they probably need to be somewhere where they're close. And
Well,
then
I would say this. If you're working with a recruiter,
uh-huh.
they will set you up with a
A rental
location.
car.
Exactly, where you don't
Mhm.
need a car. Okay? Because that
Yeah,
was one of my big things. I'm like, hey, listen, everyone, I don't drive. How is this going to work? And they're like, that's okay. We'll put you in a big city to work permanently, or we'll put you in a big city as your travel contract.
right.
So, yeah,
Yeah, you could definitely tell. And also too, in your contract, sometimes you can work out rental cars.
right.
There's a lot of people who don't take their car, to their travel assignments, so they may need transportation. So there's a lot of things that you can negotiate in your contract. So that's a great
Absolutely.
thing.
Yes,
Yep.
a very good thing.
So Ellie says, I would like to do travel histology, but I'm nervous that I'm not versatile enough. So Ellie, great time to be at the podcast, because we're here to let you know that if you don't feel like that you're versatile enough now, by the time you're done traveling, that's what's going to make you very versatile. My
Very.
my main thing before I started traveling was I wanted to travel right out the gate from school, because all I knew was travel nurses. I was like, oh my God, how can I be a travel nurse? Or not travel nurse, but how can I be a travel tech? Because you only hear about travel nurses.
Right.
So I was like, I want to do travel, but I didn't know anything about it. But I was like, you know what? Before I start to travel, I just want to make sure that I had the basics covered, which was how to embed and how to cut.
Yep.
Because if I go to these places and I can't even embed skin, or I can't embed GIs, or my embed now, my embedding is not the best now, because
Okay.
I don't embed a lot. I
Okay.
Yeah, that's the reason why, because I don't do it. I'm not a bench tech, so I don't embed. I work in neuro,
Okay.
so I deal with brains and muscles and stuff like that. So I don't embed as much as I should, because I just don't get a lot to embed. But when I was just doing like routine, surgicals and derms and stuff like that, I embedded a lot. So my embedding skills were quick, fast, and boom, boom, boom. But when you don't do that a lot, you sort of like you lose it.
You lose it, right? You do.
Yeah, so that would be anyone,
Yep.
so I think by being a traveler, it sort of shows, like, now, like, I know how to cut frozen sections, but I haven't cut molds or did frozen sections for derm, right?
Hmm.
But I know how to do it. But if I was to get a job and do it again, someone would have to, like, it's like riding a bike. Someone would have to show me, oh, this is how you do it. Okay, I haven't done it in 4 years. Okay, boom, this is how you do it, and it'll come back to me. It's just something that happens, right?
It is.
So you may not feel like you're versatile, but that's the great thing about traveling, because you will be versatile. You'll be versatile in different labs. You'll be versatile as a histotech. You'll be versatile with different personalities, different people, with different locations.
Yep.
That's what's going to build you, and that's what's going to make you like be who you're going to be if you decide to travel. So do not be nervous about traveling. You can do it one time, and if you just hate it, you don't have to do it again. What's your advice, Samara? What's your advice for Ellie?
Okay, so my advice for you, Ellie, is like Nike said, just do it. Just jump on in, immerse yourself. Just because
Right.
the longer you wait, things may happen and stuff will happen. So if you feel you want to do it now,
You
go
do
and
it.
do it now and get the experience. The sooner
Mm-hmm.
you do that, the sooner you'll be over your nervousness.
Period.
Okay,
And also too, just remember that it doesn't matter where you go,
right.
they're still going to teach you their protocol. So I could go into a lab tomorrow and be like, oh, I know how to do this, that, and the third. And they go be like, slow your roll. Let me show you how we do it.
Yes. And it is amazing you said that, Shan, because I had that in my notes. And
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to
Okay.
tell the Histo family, I said, y'all, when y'all come to these labs, please don't come with your chest inflated thinking you know everything.
Say
Because
it with your chest.
yeah, because you were in the lab for 10, 30 years. I've seen so many know-it-alls come into
Mm-hmm.
the lab, think they know everything, and just mess up the whole thing. Like
I know.
I'm not asking you all to forget what you know. I'm just asking you to put it to the side
Right.
and do as the laboratory does, because every lab is different.
Every lab is different. Be ready to learn whatever it is. You're right. You come in,
Mhm.
they've been doing it for 30 years. Kudos to you.
Right.
So happy. Kudos to you that you knew what you was going to be doing 30 years ago. I understand that. But no one cares.
Right. Exactly. Thank God someone said it.
we, we,
So
we,
true.
we respect it,
Yes.
but we don't care.
We really don't.
We respect it, but we don't care.
We don't. We really don't.
So we just need for you to be open and just be like open to like criticism, open to like saying, you know what, this is not how, okay, I understand that's how you did it, but this is how we do it here. Or like,
Right.
it's okay. Like, just
It's
if you,
okay.
it's good.
It's okay.
It's
Right.
okay. It's
Yes.
good.
Well said. Well said.
So don't be nervous. You're fine. You're gonna get over your nerves, like she said. You'll get over your nerves. Okay, so I guess Ellie was saying when you was talking about, she said, "Oh my God, I feel whenever they was like over you with your when you were cutting for your interview, when you was like it's like four people over you. They
Oh,
was like, oh my God, I feel.
that was the worst.
I bet it was, child. Ellie says, until the lab manager is besties with the person you're having a conflict with. Okay,
Oh, that's a good one. Been through
hey,
that.
hey, I love the gang. You know what, gang? This is what I mean by transparency. We're able to
Yep.
be transparent without, being, shady, but transparent, but still shady.
Yes,
So, because this is real life. This
it
is
is.
real life, and we can go in all day with a smile on our face, but it will be just something that will be like, you know what, like, I'm ready to go home. So she says, with the conflict things, because this happens until the lab manager is besties with the person you're having conflict with. I've seen it 1,000 times. People throw each
Correct.
other underneath the bus. One's the teachers, or not teacher's pet, but one the manager like the one person better than the other. See it
Right.
all the time. I've seen it in my career. Boom, she has a point.
She does.
You can't win because when you're at this point and but the thing is though, you still have to like suck it up sometime,
You
Ellie,
do.
and you still have to still bring it to the attention of the manager, or B, you go to HR, or C, you just suck it up, or you just let it out, and then whatever the case may be. I ain't gonna judge you, but hey, we know this is true, so we can skip that.
Well, we know that all too well, because let me
Yeah,
put my 5 cents in,
go
okay?
ahead, go ahead.
Like you said earlier, Shan, you can't win,
You
okay?
can't.
So, my long and short answer to that question is leave, find another place. I'm sorry, it may be tough, whatever, but
Mm-hmm.
your mental is more important than anything.
Period. Yeah.
And you go to the HR on these people sometimes, or the higher ups, and it gets worse.
Worse.
Okay.
I know. And then
So,
you look like you're the troublemaker or the
right.
trouble starter. You look like that because you're standing up for yourself. And it's so I feel it's so crazy because like sometimes the mess that goes on in histology, and not to not to scare you guys, but that's in any job where you just have like so much, mess, and it's like politics. So
Yes.
you're absolutely right. Sometimes when you do speak up or you do something, it ends up being worse on you. So you're right. Sometimes
Oh,
you
yeah.
just may have to just like for your mental health, you have to leave. Not
You
sometimes
do.
you can't just stay for the money.
You cannot.
Yeah,
Exactly. You
yeah.
cannot. You
Yeah,
cannot. So that,
because you don't end up being your best self. You don't end up being the
right.
best tech. You don't end up being the best lab tech. You don't end up being the best lead. Like it affects you to the point to where you can't like do your best work. And I've been there.
Exactly. Yo,
I've
me
been
too.
I've been there.
Me
I've been
too.
there. So
Yes.
I can relate.
Yes. 1,000%.
Yeah, I've been there. Okay,
Yeah.
so she says, yes, it's definitely a shortage in my lab, and they have been dragging their feet with adding additional techs. So what, Ellie, if you're still here, what state are you in? I
Right.
guess yeah, I don't know what state she's in, but she says there's a shortage in her lab. So how do you guys handle Samara, how do you guys handle shortages? Like, do you think what contributes to your guys' shortage, or what you've seen in the lab? Is it only the state license, or sometimes it's like just a histology jobs are just high turnover rates, or is it management? Like, what do you say contributes to most of shortages if, in your experience in the lab?
Long and short to that answer, it
Yeah.
is the licensing.
Okay.
Okay. Because,
Well, that's a good thing. That's better than management.
yeah, because
Yeah.
what happens is how they're so restrictive with the license, you're
Mm-hmm.
short staffed, and then people are overworked, and then people quit. And so you're
Yeah.
left with like
They're
all of
burnt out.
exactly.
Yeah.
So just New York State, just open up the door a little bit more.
Open it up.
Yeah, open it up so that we can have more techs and you wouldn't have
Mhm.
people quitting and overworked and disgruntled and outsourcing your work to other states.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Ellie also said, I did the provisional permit before sitting for the exam. The department director had to sign off on mine. Oh, so she's done it before. So she
Yeah.
must be in New York too.
Okay. Well, there you go, Ellie.
Oh, so she did it. Oh, that's good before someone was okay. So have you passed the exam yet, Ellie?
Yeah, we would like to know.
We'd like to know. Camille says, hey Camille, actually you can transfer with the new permit signed off New York City here. Hey Camille. So she said you can do a she said you can transfer with the new permit signed off.
Oh, they must have changed the rules because
Okay.
when I got my provisional permit back in 2019 and I
Mhm.
renewed it in 2021,
Mhm.
it stated that whatever facility signed off on that permit, that was the facility that you were relegated
It's
to.
at the state too. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So that's a good thing if they changed it.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, that was a good thing. All right. So Ellie says, I went to Sunny Broom and did the 2 year for my AS in histology, but they aren't NACLS approved. See? Okay. So I went to 2 year NACLS approved. So she's saying they're not NACLS approved, and she did the 2 years in histology.
I'm sorry, Shan. What is NACLS? I don't know what that is.
Um, you know what? Let me get the right
Yeah,
It's like
because
it's
I
like it's like an accreditation that the school needs. It may be it may be for the intern or for the clinicals. Hold on, NACLS. I know ASCP. You have to have a NACLS approved school for it
okay.
to qualify. Um, but let me what is NACLS? Let me just tell you what it means. Then, so it's just an accredited school. So what NACLS accredited school are term mean? The term. NACLS accreditation gives assurance to students that the education they receive has been evaluated by experts in the field,
Okay.
and it has been found to be academically rigorous and comprehensive enough to fully prepare graduates to work completely in a clinical laboratory setting. So basically, because at Kaiser, which I'm repping today, Kaiser
Okay.
University,
Well,
um,
hello, Kaiser.
boom, I'm an alumni, Kaiser. So basically, they have like the program, and then you have like an actual lab inside the school, like for real life, and then I guess basically the program has been like I said, it's been evaluated, saying, okay, this is a school that teaches histology. Everyone has been, I guess, reviewed, and this school can actually be counted towards, like, okay, you can sit for the board exam, you can sit for the board. So she's saying that her school wasn't NACLS approved. I don't know what that means, that it wasn't NACLS approved,
Right.
because she got a degree there.
Right.
But yeah, I'm not really sure. I'll have to look that up and see why, because I know mine was. So
Okay.
she says if you have a bachelor's, you can do the certification. That's what Camille says. If you have a bachelor's, I guess in New York, I
Well,
think that's what you were saying, is the science.
Camille, yeah, that's what I said, Camille. If you have a strong
Yeah,
science background,
you
you
could
can,
do there.
yeah, you just need a laboratory personnel to sign off on the forms for you to take the certification exam.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then she says Sunny Broom is not ASCP accredited. After one, you would have to take the ASCP. So basically, yeah, I'm not really sure why when she said they're not accredited, but because even with the accredited, you still have to take the ASCP. So I don't really know the difference between a school that isn't accredited, like what that means as far as your education.
Okay, Shan, let me interject here with
Okay.
you.
Yep.
Okay, so Histo family, when I did my research into going into SUNY Broome, and I know people who have gone to SUNY Broome,
Mm-hmm.
I never attended that school, but when I thought that I was, what I understand from that school is that they prepare you to take the New York State licensing exam. Remember that. When I spoke about them earlier, I didn't emphasize them helping you to take the HTL national certification. I said that
Right.
they will assist you with that. But
Right.
their main goal is to help you to sit for the New York State Histology licensing exam.
Oh, their goal is to help you sit for the New York State, but not sit for the ASCP.
Correct, correct. But they will help you with the ASCP, but
Got
that's not their
you.
main goal. Right.
Their goal is to, so basically their main goal is to get you licensed to stay there and work in the state of New York.
Correct.
That makes sense.
Correct.
Okay. And
Yes.
that's probably why, so that you two are basically saying the same thing just in different ways. So that's probably why they're not NACLS approved, because they're not saying, hey, this counts towards your ASCP, or this program counts towards your ASCP. You're basically saying they're doing it based upon New York. That's basically,
Right.
you have to keep those that they're teaching in the state of New York, because they don't want them to go somewhere else. Because
Exactly, exactly. Because
gotcha.
when I applied for the New York State histology license, they were trying to send me there. I knew
Oh,
what it was all about, so I said, no
okay.
way. Yeah.
So it was politics.
Yep. Politics. Yep.
That makes sense. Okay, so she said, yes, I graduated from Sunny Broom and sat for the exam and received my New York State license. Okay, so she answering our question. I've been working for more than a year and already, and I now have to sit for the ASCP exam a second time. Okay, so now that everything's becoming clear, you're
Yes.
basically, because it's not an accredited school, I'm only assuming that at this point, so basically they're treating you as if like you're taking the program, but this program, we're going to give you your New York State license, which is to work, but for the ASCP, you're going to have to still get signed off because we was not an accredited school. So you still need to get signed off, work in the laboratory for your year. That's the reason why they're giving you guys the state license, because they're giving you that to say, hey, you've been in the laboratory setting for either a year or whatever, 2 years. Now you're willing, now you can boom, submit this to ASCP. You did the program, you got the state license, you've been in the laboratory for a year. Now it's time for you to take the ASCP. Now you can be approved to sit for the ASCP. That's how I'm thinking of the time frame in my head.
Histo family, Shan hit it on the
That's
head.
what I'm
It's
thinking. Okay.
1,000% correct. Yep. That's exactly
Thanks.
what it is.
I need you. You're my cheerleader over there. I need
No,
you to
but
be.
you was able to break these things down to a
That's what I'm
science,
thinking.
which is
That's
good,
it.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's it. So
Mhm.
she says now I have to take the ASCP exam for a second time just to get it. Well, good luck.
Yeah, I
Um,
wish you all the best, Ellie.
wish you the
Just
best. Yeah, wish you the best.
yeah, wish you the best. Just keep studying. Be intentional with it. Yeah.
Okay, so she said yes, take the HTL, and I'm studying for HTL. Okay, good job, Camille. Let me
Hmm.
ask you, Samara. What was the hardest chapter you think was for you whenever studying for the ASCP? The
Oh Lord.
whole
Okay.
book, the whole chapter, the whole thing.
Oh my gosh, the whole thing at first. But when I
Okay,
went back my second time with intention, I would have to say the oh my gosh. Hold on, I have the book right here. It
okay.
was the pigments, mineral, and cytoplasmic
Cytoplasmic
granules.
granules.
Yes, and
Okay.
laboratory mathematics.
Oh, child,
I listened to your broadcast, and I
you
was just
failed.
like you. I kind of passed over that mathematics chapter. I was like,
You got
no,
to. Cause you know what? Because so many people say, "Hey, can we do math?" No, we cannot.
no, we cannot. No, we cannot.
We
Especially when most of the reagents come already, measured out. So
no, we cannot.
yeah,
Leave that to your teacher.
yes,
Leave that to your lead.
yeah.
Leave that to people in the lab who can say, "Hey, how do you do the math?" I've asked so many of my coworkers so many times because I'm like titering and pipetting, and
Yep.
they're like, I'm doing dilutions. I'm just like, how do you do the math again? It took me forever to like do you guys. I would tell you guys
Me
how
too.
long I've been knowing you guys now for like 3 years. Do not ask me about math because we're gonna skim over it. I just tell
I
you,
did too.
yeah, you pass everything, and if all you failed was the math, then you can pass this test because I am not the one. And it's probably
Yes.
so simple. Let's make a 5% solution of something, something, something. I still have to get some notes at work and pull them out because I cannot even remember. And guess what? I am fine with that. So do not, when it comes to math, you guys do not judge me. But I do not like math. I don't know math unless it's my paycheck. So other than that, girl.
That's so true.
Listen, that's all I need to know. That I know 2 plus 2 is 4. Other than
Yep.
that, if you start talking about some percentage and some, no, ma'am, how much stock of this? That's on you guys are on your own. I've never shied away from that. I am not going to fake it with you guys. You need to ask your teacher because that's what they get
Yep.
paid for. They
Yep.
don't even probably know the math. So I'm trying to tell you.
So
So
true.
don't listen.
So true.
So that
So
math,
true.
laboratory math, sometimes and it's so funny because I be wanting to do study, like study little things for the crew for the gang. But
Yes.
I open up my book, I'm like, nah, this ain't even going down. It's not even
I
going down. So,
know.
because one of the requirements for histology now is like anatomy and physiology, and I think like chemistry or something like that. And I didn't take
Yes.
chemistry. Um, I'm not the one, you guys, but that's fine. I'm the one for everything else, but I'm not the one for this or the two. So I'm so sorry. I can't help
I'm
you.
I'm right there with you, Shan. I am right there with you.
You
Cause
pass everything else, and then when it comes to the math, you guess it. You do
that's
your
what I
math
did.
wrong. You see which one came closest, and that's it. That's the only thing.
Yep.
That's the only good advice I can give you. I am so transparent, so y'all know me. I'm not gonna tell you I know math because I do not.
Me too.
Me
Me
either. I
too.
hate math. I hate math.
And let them know as well, Shan, that
Uh huh.
most of the reagents already measured
Yeah,
out.
they
So
are. Yeah, most of the reagents
yeah.
they're already like pre-prepared, or they're like literally like you just add in 100 mLs of DI water to something. Like everything is normally done, but when you get into
Exactly.
certain things, like I'm not gonna lie, like IHC or immuno,
Oh
like
yes. Yes.
you will have to do some dilutions,
You're
and
right.
you'll find they'll teach you that. Okay,
Okay,
but
good.
not me, not me, girl. Not me. So Ellie says, okay, oh, okay, Camille, I took it for my HT. So they're talking about their HT. And she says, sorry, Sunny Broom wasn't NACLS approved. So I only have my New York State license and not my ACP. Yeah, we got that. So
Okay.
you still need to take your ACP. So are
Right.
you preparing for it now, Ellie? And she said, I was just trying to find a workaround from having to sit for the exam a second time. There is no workaround.
Yeah.
If you're gonna work in a different state, it's gonna be worth you getting your ASCP, and you have up to 5 times to to take the ASCP. So you're on your second time, and just like myself and just like Samara, we took it 2 times, and you're
Yep.
gonna be just fine. Just figure out what you need to work on and what chapter that you need to start from. And sometimes you just need to block everything out and just reteach yourself something like over and over and over again. That's just
Yeah.
what it is. Like, but you'll get it. Don't give up. You'll get it.
Well, Shan, how I didn't get this quite, but how
Okay.
did you study for the exam? Because what I did was I would read the chapter and then I would test myself on in this book. And then
Okay.
I would do that like about, let's say, about 3 times.
Okay.
Yeah, I did that 3 times and then I took the
You took
exam.
the test. Well, what
Hmm.
I did was I literally when I was in school, I didn't understand anything that we was even talking about. Like I just didn't. I didn't. And I think that's what makes me proud of myself because it's sort of like I didn't know. I went to school based upon a need to get a career, right? So
Right.
I didn't have a science background like a lot of people. I didn't have that. So when I went to histology school, it was more of like I've never heard these terms before. I never heard of anything that we're speaking about. I didn't even know histology existed. So, me just studying, I failed because I was wanting to graduate school. And that was the most important thing, just to graduate. So after
Gotcha.
I graduated, I took the test too quickly and then I failed. So, boom. Time went by and I'm just like, okay, I can't continue to make $11 an hour. I got a college degree, you know, I can't get a job. Like, why am I in this funk? So
Right.
one day I sat down, I opened up my book, and I literally started from processing. And I literally was like, okay, Shanika, how can I remember this shit? If I'm just being real with you,
I
how can I
understand.
remember this shit? I don't know what the hell I'm even talking about. So I literally sat down, opened up Frida, and I literally went through every chapter. And then what I did was I went through the chapter and then I took that chapter and then I went and I just opened up like this is the book I got now. This
Oh, the
book,
latest version.
yeah.
Okay.
But I had a different book. I let my friend use it because she's studying for her test. But um,
Okay.
I took a study book and I literally found every single question. So if I was reading about just say processing and different things, I went to the processing chapter of the study book and read those questions. So I equated that portion of the book to these few questions that I found because I was thinking to myself like maybe these questions will show up if they're talking about this part in the book. So that's why in my videos I say don't move to the next chapter until you are really ready.
Correct.
I mean, you need to understand it. I mean, you need
Yes.
to read the technical notes. You
Yeah.
need to read if you're talking about different fixatives, do not move to special stains because you're so ready to get to special stains. Like understand the fixative, what's inside the fixative, what the fixative does, like
True.
all everything. And so I just really like took everything like I literally didn't work. I sat on the floor. I was eating pasta. I was like just eating and just like just I was just like I don't know, I was just like a polar bear. I was just like eating and just like just trying to study and figure out this book. So I spent some time studying this book and figure out like how I can reteach myself. So what I did, I went through the whole book and I just broke the book down as if like I was in school again. And
Okay.
then I took like a series of tests. I was working from home and then I took like a series of tests. So during my breaks at work, I would like take quiz myself. And I knew the test was like 200 something dollars or something like that.
Okay.
I knew like I didn't have enough money to
Oh boy.
fail the test because money was an issue. I'm making $11 an hour. So at
Yeah.
my job. So I'm thinking like, okay, I can only like take this test like a couple more times. Like I don't have $200. I'm so grateful because like $200 is like, it's a lot of money, but I don't have to think about that anymore. So I'm just like, okay,
Exactly.
I'm just like, $200 is a lot of money. I don't got that. So I literally just sat down, studied, wrote the book down, and I literally like just piece by piece. And I took the test and like I passed it. And I couldn't even believe like I passed the test, honestly. And I was just like, you know what? Like I need to be able to I don't know like what made me think about it. But I was like, you know what? Like I need to create a channel for people like me who when I used to look on YouTube or look on the internet for like histology, I would see people like just doing like rat, like just like animal,
Mhm.
controls and showing me how to embed, show me how to cut.
Right.
See anyone who looked like me and who would sit down and actually take the time to like say, hey, you dream about this profession, but you're not in it yet. So it's like, how is it being in histology? Like, what
Yep.
do I need to do? Like, will I ever get to be a histologist? Because I can't pass the test, and I just was at this roadblock. So that's the reason why I created the Lab Girl Circle, or I came up with the Lab Girl, because it's like I wanted to be that representation, like I tell you guys like all the time, because there was no one I can ask a question to.
Right.
There's a lot of people on YouTube who teaches histology, like just for
Mhm.
college courses and professors. But I wanted a regular person like me
Yep. Who's
to
been
have
through it? Right.
right to have these conversations like me and you, like me and my other guests, or people in real life that I have these conversations with. I wanted someone to say, you know what, I was in your shoes. Like I failed 2 or 3 times too, and this is what you can do. Or this is what I did. Like, who had to still survive and still,
Yeah.
work a regular job, and didn't come from education, didn't come from a lot. So it's just like to see myself build myself up like this, it was encouraging for me to say, I want to do that for other people. So yeah, I just literally just read the book, and just like I didn't give up, and I just knew one day I was like, you know what, like if I pass this test, like I'm gonna change my life, and that's what I did.
Oh man,
Yeah.
that is great.
I know. It gets me emotional because I'm just like, I can't believe, like, I really don't know a lot. Let's just make sure we get this clear. I don't know, I don't know a lot as much as I could know. But what I do know is like how to, I guess I can relate to a lot of people, and I may not know like everything in the book, and I may not, because I don't remember a lot of stuff in the book. So whenever I'm doing these
Right.
study sessions, and I'm, doing pop quizzes, I wish it was someone there to pop quiz me, or someone like there to like, I don't know the answers all the time, because I'm like, damn, I haven't studied this book in forever. So it's sort of like quizzing myself too whenever I'm doing my pop quizzes, or doing this for you guys. So yeah, like I just do it because I knew I didn't have that for myself. So I wanted to give that to this type of community. So that's the reason why I created this space in this lane for us. So yeah.
And you were that for me and many
Thank you.
others. Yeah, because like you said, when you go online and you look for, histology stuff to help you, it's
Mhm.
just a bunch of people doing the technique in a lab, and it's not really, yeah.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of like someone could teach you histology, but like can you say, hey, like, how much do they pay in this city or this state? Or
Right.
hey, like, I have a job interview, what should I do? Or hey, I'm having some issues with, how to, with static, or I'm having some issues with, I use a cold water bath and a hot water bath, or, I'm having some conflict at my job, and I'm looking for a job, and I needed clinicals. Who can you really reach out to instead of, it's just not that many people. So I just wanted to, I guess I wanted to be able to help as much as I can. So I'm so thankful that you guys like trust me and watch me, and like, you guys motivate me just as much as I motivate you guys. So that's the reason why I'm here, and I really appreciate you coming on my show. But we're not done yet.
No, no, I have time. So
Yeah.
let's
Okay,
do
good.
it. I have
Okay. Well, I
time.
really appreciate you coming on my show, because that makes a difference, and we're definitely like we're changing the game.
We are.
Period. So she says LA, New York State license score is 75. So what's she talking about, the license score? Oh, so you guys have a score? Like, I don't know about New York. She says
Jen, I don't know nothing about that. I just got my license in the mail. I can't tell you what the score
score is
is.
75. Okay, so because for the ASCP, I think the score is like 400,
400,
to pass.
right, to
Okay.
pass.
I
Yeah.
didn't care. My thing was 401.
Yes.
I don't
Me
care.
too.
I don't care. I think mine was like 420. I don't care.
Me too.
I don't care. Like, just give me my license.
Me too. Exactly. I
Yeah,
was the
I don't
same way,
care.
Shan. I'm like, as
I
long
mean,
as I
people used
get
to
it,
be like, "Oh yeah, I scored a like 5, 6." I don't
I don't care.
care.
We really don't. We're just trying to get
We're
there.
just trying to get the license.
Yes.
She said ASCP is 400, two different exams. Okay, so they're saying there's a score for the. So this is probably new then, Samara.
Okay.
It says the New York license score is 75, so you probably have to do something. They're probably scoring it. She said,
Okay.
thank you. Okay, thank you. That's reassuring regarding being a travel tech. And they're saying thank you.
Shan, let me just
Yes,
interject here. Histo family, I do not know the score that you
right,
have to obtain to get the New York State license because
right.
I did the avenue where, since I have my HT, I automatically got the license.
Okay.
The score family that you would have to find out how much you need to pass the New York State licensing exam, you will have to look that up for yourself because I took a different avenue.
Okay, yeah, so that must be for those who didn't already have like maybe um either the ACP, or like you said, you took a different avenue. So there must be different routes or something that you can
Yeah.
take. So she's saying be professional always. I think that was in reference to, how do you handle conflict at work?
Yeah, you're right, Camille. Just always be professional because
Professional.
what
Mm-hmm.
I had learned as well is some people want you to react.
Oh yeah.
And that's real devious. So
Yeah.
be professional always. You're right, Camille.
Yeah. They do want you to react.
Yeah.
Sometimes you do react though. Sometimes you can't
Sometimes.
react. Yeah, they do want you to react. They may win some days. She said, yeah,
Yeah, you're right.
they may
You're
win.
right.
She said, yes, I passed the exam for my New York State license back in 2022. So that's fairly new.
Okay.
2022. That's fairly new. She said National Accrediting Agency for Clinical Laboratory. That's what the NACLS is.
Okay.
And then Sunny prepare you to take only the, like you said, that's what you said too. They only prepare you to take the New York State license. After 1 year experience, you're allowed to take the ASCP. And then she said, correct, Shan, got it. Oh, thanks, Camille. And then she said, exactly, Shanika, opening that Frida Carson book again after passing the exam the first time is annoying. Yeah, it is, child.
I know.
That book isn't, yeah. The
Yeah.
pop quizzes definitely helps, especially for someone like me who needs a refresher. Thank you. You guys are welcome. Yeah, you
Mhm.
guys are welcome with the pop quiz. Yeah, I'll post. I'll make sure to post more pop quizzes, throughout the week. If you guys got any other questions, for Samara, let me know. Drop them in the comment section down below. I really appreciate you guys, being here with us, and you got New York in the house, Samara. Like
Yes.
it's like
Hey, New York. Yeah.
yes. I was like, if you guys want to work in New York, if you guys are thinking about traveling, how is traveling to New York though, as far as like being a travel, is it the same routes you think to become a travel histotech in New York? Is it just as hard? You still need the same license and everything to become a travel histotech, or that's just being in New York, period? To work at any lab, you need those same qualifications.
Okay, so I had spoken with a pathologist earlier this week,
Okay.
and being a travel histotechnologist,
Mm-hmm.
you're fine with just your HTHTL working in a laboratory in New York State as a
Okay.
histology technician. However, you start out with your HTHTL, but while you're there, they
Get your license.
will, yeah, encourage you to get the license, or they will make you get the license.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
Okay, so we can
Yeah.
come. So basically, we can come with our ASCP,
Yes.
and then once we're there, they're saying, "Hey, we want you to go ahead and get your New York State license,"
Correct.
and then
Yes.
they'll sign off on it.
Exactly. There you go.
Okay,
Yep.
that makes sense. I didn't know it was so complicated. Thank you for giving us all the information. If you guys, I'm going to post this again on my YouTube page and on my community tab. You guys be sure to follow my community tab, because once Samara actually send me all the links, make
Yes.
sure I got them right, then I'll post it on my community page, and I'll post it on the Lab Girl Circle on Instagram as well. Samara, did you have any other questions for us or comments or anything you would like for us to know before we end the live today?
Um, I just want to say, when you come to work in New York,
Mm-hmm.
it's a great thing. It's a wonderful thing, okay? If you find a laboratory where you have the team is supportive and there's no silly little drama,
Mm-hmm.
great. If you do find a team where there is drama, just leave.
Okay.
Leave and go someplace else. It's not going to hurt any. But
Okay.
we have many positions open in New York. We need for licensed histotechs to come and work and fill in those gaps. There's money to be made here, family. Like
What's
I
the
said, between 40 and 60 an hour,
which is
even
good.
more. Yeah, even more if you have like your IHC experience
Hmm.
or MOS. So
Hmm.
yes, family, that's
What about the snow though? I don't think a lot of people want to get.
well, you guys,
I
that
don't think I don't think a lot of people want to get trapped in that snow.
oh my gosh, well, you all that's just a part of it.
I
You gonna have
know.
you're just gonna have to deal with it
I
like you deal with
know.
these rats,
Oh
okay?
God, Jesus.
All right,
Okay, yeah.
you gonna have to deal
You
with
have to
that
deal
snow
with
like you deal with the
with the
rats.
rats.
Yeah,
But you guys, but the food is probably worth it, right?
not in my opinion, but everybody said New York City or New York, yeah, has the
That's
best
great
food.
food.
Not in my opinion, but
I don't think
everyone
so.
said
I don't think California has the best food, but I don't want anyone to hurt me on here.
okay.
They just don't. I think I've eaten at better states. But the good thing is, you guys are hiring. There's a lot of positions
A lot.
in New York,
Yes.
and I've given you guys the two places, where you can get hired or try to get hired, and then but if these jobs are not on Indeed, how can we apply then if they're not on Indeed? Are they? Are
Um,
they?
if
Can we go to their
okay,
website?
yeah, well, okay, so this is what I do. I'll share what I do. If they're
Okay.
not on Indeed,
Uh
Indeed
huh.
has an option where you could put your resume out there and
Okay.
recruiters will just flock to it and they'll keep sending you texts
Okay.
or emails and they'll say, "Hey, look, I have a position in so and so borough or Manhattan or in Brooklyn." So that's one option.
Okay.
Another option is, I mean, I know I'm asking a lot, but another option is word of mouth. Just
Yeah.
like how I told you guys about Montefiore, Nyack,
Yep.
that's one. However, that salary is only for traveling histotechs. Now, I spoke to the pathologist at that lab, and if you want to be a permanent histotech at that lab, they're willing to pay $50 an hour. That's
Which
permanent.
is really good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's the best borough in New York?
Oh, in my opinion, the best borough is Manhattan. Even though I
Okay.
live in the Bronx, I can't afford Manhattan, but it's the best
It's
borough.
the best borough. All
Yes.
right. Camille says New York City don't snow like it used to. Yeah, because
She's
of
right.
global
Yeah,
warming.
she's
Okay.
right.
So we are really let me tell you something, Samara. Thank you so much. We're gonna get off because we've been like 2 hours, and
Okay.
I think we're at the end of our questions. But I would really like for you to come back after
Yes.
your assignment
Yes, absolutely.
so we can know how your first assignment went.
Well, absolutely, family. We will, and Shan, we'll keep in contact by email.
Yeah,
I'll let you know, if I enjoyed it, if not, if I extended the contract, if I'm going
yeah, we want
somewhere
to know your
deeper.
experience. Yeah,
Yes,
we want to know your experience now because you are now entering into the travel realm. I want to know
yes.
your experience from day one. How was it working in different lab? If you're going to be in different city or state, like how was that?
Mhm.
What was your thoughts about working in another lab and being around different people and traveling and doing new things? So I would definitely love for you to come back on the show. I really want to say thank you so much for joining me on season 2, episode 2 of the Lab Girl Circle. I really appreciate you being so kind, so sweet, so informative. The audience is loving you. She said me too. The audience is loving you, and we're Brooklyn. Uh
Okay.
Brooklyn in the house. Okay, so I mean, I really appreciate you, and I really, want to say thank you so much for dropping gems today. You really don't know how much that meant to me and the gang, and I'm just so happy to have people like this a part of my community. So thank you so much for sharing your information, your knowledge, your thoughts, and you are welcome on the Lab Girl show anytime, child. You're welcome
Well,
anytime.
thank you so much for having me, and thank you for, being a voice out there for this profession where when people ask you what you do, they look at you like
Like
this,
what?
or
No,
then
no.
ask you five more times after that.
Let me get you
So,
like you got two heads.
right. So thank you for just, helping aspiring histotechs out and helping us get the knowledge and the word out there about this very important field, but not recognized enough.
I know. You're welcome. Well, thank you so much. If you guys got any questions, again, feel free to let me know. I'll relay the message to her, and this won't be the last time that we'll see her, on the show. So, you guys, I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.
Oh,
Thank you
before you
for
sign
tuning.
off, Shan, I
Yeah,
am so
go
sorry.
ahead. Go ahead.
Histo family, I will give Shan my email.
Yep.
So you guys can also email me directly, okay? I
Oh,
will answer
cool.
your questions to the best of my abilities.
That's what's up.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll make a note that I will post your email on my community tab. I'm not really sure on my YouTube. You know how to go to the community tab and see
Yes.
what. Okay, so once you if it's okay, as soon as this live is over, is that the email that you want me to give the one you and I correspond, or you have a different one?
Yeah, you can give them the email that you and I correspond on.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
So I will Ellie said yes, that would be nice, Samara. Thank you. Have a good evening, everyone. So I'll go ahead and post her email address on my community tab today. And if you guys got any questions for her, like she said, feel free to ask her. And again, you definitely won't, it won't be the last time you're on the show. So I would love for you to come back to talk about your travel experience. I'm super excited. If you guys want to talk about traveling, on the next time she comes, make sure you join because we'll have a travel segment, and that way we can ask her all the travel information, and then you can get more detail other than mine about our travel experience. And me and you can both talk about our travel experiences, some pros, some cons. It'll be good to hear your thoughts about that.
Absolutely.
All
Yes.
right. So if you guys don't have any more questions for me, then we can go ahead and end it here. I really appreciate you guys joining the Lab Girl, and I will see you guys in my next stream. Have a good day, Samara.
Have a good day, family.
Hi, guys.
Bye bye. Yes, indeed.